What's going on, man?
How are you doing today? Are you doing okay? Are you doing swell? Well,
What in the world are you doing?
it's May 1st. Well, May 2nd, actually. You know what time it is. It's time to keep it real, keep it live, keep it hardcore. It's Keeping It Real podcast with your boy, Big Boy Live, and that dude, and that guy, and that co-host, Professor Lovely X.
Well, I don't know what you're watching in the background, but I can hear it.
What's the office, man? The office. The office. One of the greatest shows ever.
They, my ex and my kids love watching that show. So, yeah, I heard a lot about it. But yeah, no, now that I can actually hear you, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Just was folding some clothes and watching Office and kind of got tired of it. Watching, folding clothes.
Did you say watching folding clothes?
Yeah. I was already watching myself fold clothes and I got tired of it. But, yeah, man.
That's funny you mentioned that because I got about halfway through mine and I was like, you know what? I like the idea of watching myself do it rather than actually doing it.
Well, But yeah, I washed a bunch of clothes today and I folded some of them. I guess I do some more tomorrow morning, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. It was nice today, though.
Was it nice over there?
It was nice. It wasn't too hot. Actually, it was a nice, perfect temperature outside. It was quite enjoyable.
It was a little on the chilly side over here. Of course, it had rained a little bit earlier in the morning, so it kind of had a little bit of a chill
Right.
most of the day, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, we've definitely had a lot worse lately.
Well, we're still in the hoodie weather.
Yeah.
I wore my hoodie today, so.
I still have my post as well on me.
Yeah, I was supposed to meet up with someone today to take pictures as far as like a mentoring type deal, but they guess that your client's canceled on, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take some pictures anyway. So I went ahead and took some pictures today. Nature stuff.
That's always
cool.
fun.
Oh yeah.
I miss that. I used to do that a lot myself when I was a little younger. Back when I had a camera and everything like that, I used to go outside and take pictures. Honestly, not very many people actually know this. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a photographer for National Geographic. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, take pictures of wild animals in real life.
If you're good at it, it can make some serious money with doing it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. But it wasn't one of the things where I wanted to do it for the money. I wanted to do it just so I could actually be able to see a lot of the things that we don't see with our own human eyes. We watch it through like a documentary or some Discovery Channel special, you know. But
Right.
actually getting able and being able to travel to those locations and be on site and actually take those pictures in person, I think, you know, I just don't know of words that would be able to describe that feeling for the people who actually get to do that. It's got
Right.
to be one of the greatest and most rewarding jobs in the world.
And T being chased by a lion trying to kill you, that'd be kind of scary.
Well, I mean, every job has its has its risks. But to do the more exotic job, a lot of times the risks are higher.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean that's the main thing about it. As long as you can, enjoy it. I mean, some of those shots out there, man, they can. They do some shots out there. They be doing real good at it.
Yeah, but that's cool that you had that opportunity to do that today. You know, plans kind of blew up, and so you know, did something for you. So that's cool.
Yeah. But other than that, though, I mean, it wasn't too bad of a weekend. I mean, I cut grass this weekend before it rained and did some stuff like that, which is pretty nice. Got some stuff done, you know, and did a lot of nothing too.
Isn't it funny, you know, whenever you get those few precious moments of downtime to yourself, you know, you've got like personal stuff you need to take care of. Like, man, I just don't want to. I just want to enjoy a little bit of time I'm using myself right now in the moment, you know.
Well, you know, it's called that. What's the call? It's called that.
It's called adulting sucks. LOL.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but so I did. I did go see my buddy this weekend. I hadn't seen him for a long time, and I seen his little girl. His little girl's growing up. Then, of course, you know, we got stuck watching Maui. I never seen that show until this weekend. It's a pretty good show, actually.
Nice.
And I learned that a lot of tattoos that Maui had, I have. I didn't know that.
I mean, you kind of remind me of Maui, only with shorter hair.
Well, yeah, you know.
I mean, you get that nice, you know, luscious mane like he had, and I might just start calling you Maui. Especially you keep getting tatted up the way you've been lately. I'm gonna be like, oh boy, my boy's a walking tribal symbol. I love it. You know, you a billboard for tribal tattoos.
Yeah, I was telling my tattoo guy today that I'm gonna start working on my chest, the lower chest with tribal on it. Then I'm gonna have a stingray on my back.
Yeah, that's cool, dude. But you got to make sure you stick with the theme you've got going now, though.
Oh, it will.
Also, seriously, like being as into the tribal tattooing and everything that you ought to put something on your bucket list to like go to Hawaii and actually get tattooed by someone out there, get a tribal tattoo from one of the people out there that do the tapping stick method.
I'm good.
Traditional tattoo.
I'm good.
You're like, I'm not that dedicated to my craft.
No. I watched some videos on that stuff, and
oh man,
it looks very painful.
It looks extremely painful, but man, it's fascinating to watch be done, though.
It's like one of those kind of things where that would be a bucket list type deal. That would be like a bucket list type deal because I was watching some of it and it's crazy. Especially like those Japanese tattoos, original Japanese tattoos. Those are even crazy too.
So I love tattoos so much. You know, if I had the money, I would be covered, obviously. But that style you were just talking about, the Japanese style, getting Shogun
Mm.
or Yakuza style tattoos would be freaking sweet.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that stuff. I mean a lot of that stuff is. I seen some stuff, seen some work, man, and I was like, wow, it's it takes so much time to do some of this work I seen. I mean, it's crazy.
So let me ask you a question. Like, since the subject kind of presented itself, what is what is like your favorite type of tattoo? Like, do you like black and gray? Do you like color? Do you like color realism? Do you like new school? Are you more like an old school type? Um, what is your something that you like tattoo wise? What kind of style do you think you like the best?
Well, honestly, um, with what I already got now, I got more of your black and grays, and I got very little color. Um, I got color on my leg, which a lot of colors don't show up very well on my skin tone. Green shows up pretty well. Purple does not. Purple's not too bad. I got purple on my turtle. But I kind of like the old school, just that old school symbolic type of tattooing.
I, I just remembered what it was called. I would really, really, really like to be able to find someone that was good at doing American traditional tattoos. I'd like to have one in that style on my body. And obviously, there are people, around the country and everything who are really good at it. Um, but I would like to find somebody that would be able to do something like that for me because I would actually wear that as a badge of honor, having that American traditional style of tattooing on me. Pretty sweet.
I mean, I've seen some stuff like a lot of that Hawaiian or the Hawaiian Samoan stuff. I mean, that stuff is so detailed. And I think that's what I like about it. It's just the detail. I mean, you got some tattoos where they're detailed. Some of them just are just there. But I love detailed tattoos.
Right. Yeah, one of my favorite things in tattooing are tattoos that are a lot of intricate line work because I think that gives the artist a chance to show off like their natural talent and their skill. Obviously, if you can do everything across the board, you're a fantastic artist. But one of like the basic foundations, I've got a few tattoo friends of what they've always told me they've always worked on first is their line work and their shading.
Right. I mean, like,
Then
I mean,
then proportion.
you've seen my elephant, and it's really detailed.
Oh, it's fantastic. That one might actually be my favorite tattoo you currently have. Honestly, that's pretty sweet, dude.
That take a lot of work.
But yeah, that's definitely black and gray. Like that's a black and gray, type of style, and that's pretty sweet. And man, I've always wanted a black and gray tattoo, but I've always been a person who's myself been more pulled towards like color. Like I like more color tattoos and things like that, and it's just something that I've always enjoyed more. But I would love to get a sweet black and gray Ohio State tattoo um, on my left calf. Like I would really love to find someone who could hook me up and just knock that thing out of the park. Because see, I love Ohio State so much. That would be the one tattoo, that I wouldn't have to have in color because anybody who cuts underneath it, the color's going to come through that tattoo. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, it's tattooing has. I mean, from what I've seen and seen, it's just that it's yes, it's a personal expression of what you like and how you see things and stuff. But it really just shows it's art, and some people like it, and some people don't. I mean, it's just like anything else. I mean, I think it's relaxing.
I don't know. I'm kind of picky when it comes to tattoos. Not really tattoos, but like tattoo artists, because I don't like finding the ones who've been doing it so long. It's become a career to them. I like finding the artists who are, just a couple of years into the industry, who are still very hungry for the art, who are still building their portfolios and getting themselves out there. Like they're more eager and you get more of their best work.
Right.
It's just like with any other position, but when it comes to tattoos, like that's what I look for. Someone who's going to give it all the time and realize, hey, this person is paying me their hard-earned money to wear my artwork on their body for the rest of their life. I want to do the best job I can.
Exactly.
I just think a lot of times, just like with any other industry, in the tattoo industry, you do it for so long, or it's so hard to get your foot in the door a lot of times that you become complacent with the job, and it shows in your artwork. The ones who just, no matter how long they've been doing it, they just blow it away. Those are the tattoo artists. It's like, oh my gosh, I wish I had millions so I could go find them. Because they're real famous artists and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's just like I said, it's one of those kind of things where you got the people that are very passionate about it, and you got some people just they do it because they just like doing it. I mean, you get the one, like you said, you got ones that do it because it's their job, it's their career, and you get the ones that actually just do it because they like the heart of it, and they like doing it. I think the ones that are like that, their price points are a lot different than the ones that are career tattoo artists. And then you get to the point where you got some people that are so good to where they don't tattoo that much, but if you want them to tattoo them, put with them the tattoo on you, you do gotta pay big money, because it gets to be more of a status symbol, like, oh yeah, such and such put this tattoo on me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I've seen some bad tattoos too. I think we all have.
Oh yeah, like that. That's no joke. Hell, there may be some people that would come along and look at some of the tattoos that you and I have and say that they're bad tattoos, only because of what you just said. They're better. They have that higher price point. They are in that upper echelon tier. You know what I mean? Like just the creme de la creme of the tattooing world. They might look at some of the work that our artists have done and be like, yeah, that sucks.
Right. That's the thing about it though too. It's like you have to like have a what's what I'm looking for. You have to have a thick chin because you got people out there that are willing to, like you said, they will sit there and tell you, "Oh, your tattoo sucks," and it's like either you can let it get to you or you cannot. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it. I don't let it get to me because if you let it
Well,
get to you, now if it sucks, then that's a different story. I mean, there's
no, but you're right. I'm sorry. Keep going. Keep going. I see where you're going now. If you let it get to you, go ahead. That's where you were.
yeah, if you let it get to you, then you're gonna start second guessing everything. Especially that you're a tattoo artist. But the thing about it, though, everyone is our society is so judgmental that you can, and it'll make you feel a certain way about your tattoos or just anything in general. So, and that's when you gotta think about it yourself. Like, all right, is this person gonna let me judge this person, or am I gonna make me go somewhere else? And then next thing you know, you're not gonna be happy or satisfied because you went somewhere else because you didn't get treated the same way.
Exactly. Exactly. No, no truer words have ever been spoken. Um, as far as your point goes, yeah, I mean, you're completely correct. But what I was going to say is, we're just talking specifically tattoos right now. But what you just said, like that transcends any type of industry that you work in.
Right.
Like that's how it is in any industry. It doesn't matter what you do. We're just talking tattoos right now because, well, obviously both of us have got a craving for ink therapy right now. So, that's
All right.
it's just the subject that presented itself.
Well, that's true. I mean, it goes with anything, I mean, that tattoo world or sports world or either your automotive world or even like in like myself with photography. I do photography and stuff. You know, you got people out there that are super. I mean, I've seen some great work. I mean, I've seen some great photographers. Wow, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, how do you? But then again, it all comes down to that one thing. It takes time. It takes practice. I mean, you got to hone that craft, and that's with not just with what you're doing. It's with life itself. I mean, you're always gonna make mistakes. You just gotta learn from those mistakes.
Yep, it's true as well. I mean, but isn't that what you know life in general is? Just
Right.
a series of steps and tests and trials and tribulations to get you to the best version of yourself that you can possibly be when it's all said and done with.
Well, exactly.
I mean,
And
some people see it as that. Some people pick it up and they rise to the challenge, and then other people are just like, nah, it's just too hard, and they give up.
hmm heck, I felt like giving up on the photography thing, but it's like I can't give up on because the times I think about giving up, then something comes through for a shoot. Like I got like 4 shoots this weekend coming up, so I was like, I can't give up.
But see, that's oftentimes how it goes, though. Something that we love, something that we're passionate about, something that we love and we are so passionate about that we could make a career out of. When it begins to feel like it's turning into work, it takes away that joy that we had of once doing it. And I think a lot of times that just leads to the complacency that we oftentimes fall into.
Well, that's true. It's exactly true. You want to keep whatever it is you're doing, like keep it fresh because, like you said, you can get to a point where it can be redundant. It's like a job, and it's something you took to be a a hobby is now turned into a job that which turn into a job. And if you don't like your job, like how it is, different places where you work at, the next thing you know, you get to a point where you're like, God, I hate my job. So when you get to that point, you gotta do something different. You gotta shake things up to where you're not feeling that way.
Yeah. Well, but see, that's the problem is because when something becomes a responsibility, something that we have to do in order to be able to have the life that we have outside of the job, we begin to resent it because the responsibility that we have to do. And we hate it so much because the nature of humans is to not be responsible. It's to be selfish and to do what you want to do instead of doing what you have to do. And
Mm-hmm.
because doing what you have to do has has been made to be so hard or so frowned upon, I guess, in an instance that we literally will wake up every day that we know we have to go to work because it's a responsibility, and it'll just be like, oh my gosh, I'm absolutely having the worst day ever. I absolutely hate the job because it makes me be responsible and accountable.
Right.
people don't look at it as that. Hey, you're learning a craft, you're being responsible, you're being accountable, and it is idle time in your life that's being filled with, possibly, if you weren't doing this, doing things that, aren't necessarily good or edifying for you. We don't
Right.
look at the positives of it. We just turn it into responsibility. And then the second it becomes, as you said, work, we no longer want to do it.
Well, that goes along with anything. Like, think about it. I mean, that goes along with housework. It goes along with relationships. It goes along with, you know, any of that stuff. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I hate doing, like I said, like today. I mean, I, I don't like folding clothes. I just rather just leave them in a clothes hamper and then, you know, and then go about my business. You know what I'm saying? But that's just because that is the life I live, as far as, because all we do is work all the time. Since that's all
Right.
we do is work all the time, who we trying to impress? We're not really trying to impress nobody because there's no one there to reach and impress. So who cares if I go to work with wrinkled clothes? Because I'm not there to impress them. I'm there to kick out your parts, you know?
Yeah, don't I know it? Don't I know it? I heard that little chuckle. Don't you think I didn't hear the beginning of that little sinister laugh you just dropped right then? So,
But
unfortunately, so piggybacking off of what you just said, fortunately or unfortunately, however you want to view it, I view it as being extremely fortunate. Um, I am so much like my mother when it comes to, okay, so a little backstory. I don't think anywhere we have ever lived that we ever lived whenever I was a kid growing up in our lifetimes. I don't think I ever found a speck of dust anywhere in that house that we lived in outside of my sister's bedroom. That might have been because my sister, God love her, I love her to death. She was a slob. Okay. But my mother is such a clean freak. Like, it does not matter. It's one of the things that she loves the most. She's never viewed that as housework. She's never viewed it as something that is work. She's always viewed it as something that is special to her. It's a necessity to her, and she's just always kept a clean house. And so I got a lot of that from my mom. Okay. And oftentimes I begin to understand as my life has progressed, some of the struggles at times, that my father went through with mom is, sweetheart, will you please put the broom down and come in here and hang out with the family? Let's do this. We can always clean it later. Dad trying to be dad, but still trying to let mom be mom at the same time. It was great. But you could see it was always something that drove him crazy his entire life. It was just like, hey, it can get clean later. Just sit down and relax for 5 minutes.
right,
Uh,
right.
but that was how mom was, and that's kind of how I've always been my whole life. Any relationship that I've ever been in, um, or being completely by myself, it's just like I have to clean something. However, I'm just enough not like my mom that there is two areas in my house that I can allow to get cluttered and a little bit dirty on occasion and not necessarily have that instantaneous need to clean it up. And one of them is my kitchen table and the other one is my futon. They're catch-alls. They're organized in their own chaotic sense, but if you look at everything else around them in my house, it's neat, it's clean, it's tidy. And people look at me and they go, "Are you sure you're a guy?"
Mm.
I'm like, "Why?" oh, most men are messy. Well, that's true. I'm not. Thanks, Mom. By the way, love you.
I, I think the thing about it though is too is like also it a lot of your way you do things in your today life is basically based on your past life. You know. So if you, just like you said, your mom was a very clean lady, and she always cleaned. So therefore, that may have not filtered out on to your sister, or may have filtered onto your brother, but it filtered out onto you. And that's just one of those kind of things that you took from your mother, which is not a bad thing, which is actually that makes you who you are.
I tell you what, I completely agree with that. Um, that is one of the absolute most positive traits of my mom that she has that, throughout my life I've taken with me. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. That's very truthful. It's also one of the reasons why at any given point in time, if somebody says something about wanting to come over to the house or, wanting to come over and see the place or, wanting to come and pick me up to go do something or whatever, I have no problem with anybody walking in my house at any given moment. Like, it's just that clean. From a clean perspective, I don't care. Now, after the kids visit for the weekend, I may need a couple hours to straighten everything up. But other than that, any other
Well,
time, 100% okay.
That's understandable though. You know what I mean? That's understandable. Like me, on the other hand, like I'm not a clean freak, and I admit that. I mean, look, my vehicles, my house. I mean, but when I have someone I know is going to be over there or something like this, like yeah, I clean but the best I can, or or I do more cleaning when I'm how can I say this, when I got people over. It's weird.
Entertaining. When you are entertaining house guests.
Yeah, exactly.
I heard that little sleight of hand in there.
But it's just how it is, though. I mean, it's not like it's a bad thing. I mean,
No,
it can be depending on what your situation is. If you're what's the word I'm looking for? If you're a hoarder, then that's not good.
right.
But hey, so other than that, let's take a quick commercial break, and we're gonna change the topic up and change up a little bit, and get a little riled up. Mm. That's right, everybody. Thank you for listening into the podcast. This is your boy, Big Boy. This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Terra Jersey Enterprise will hook you up with some custom shirts. Also, Terra Jersey Photography, capturing your moments of today to make them last for a lifetime. But like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise. What's going on, everybody? We are back. We are back. We are back. Brought to you by Terra Jersey Photography. Get all your memories captured on a digital format. What's going on, man? How you doing? Doing all right?
Yeah, Captain Trip over my own promo. I'm doing good.
sure did, didn't I?
You had a Charles Barkley moment right then.
You see, Kenny, basketball in the house of turkeys, turkeys.
Bro, do you remember that episode of Inside the NBA that night where Shaq was reading that promo and Ernie Johnson and everybody in the studio kind of clapped for him when he finished it because he read it so well and he didn't do a good job? And Charles is sitting over there and he looked up and he goes, hold on. Y'all gonna give this man credit for knowing how to read? And then they said, okay, Chuck, you go ahead and you read it then. He couldn't even get out the first sentence because he kept saying all the words wrong. He was like, yeah, TNT's The Alienist premieres this week. He couldn't say A-list. It was Alienist.
Oh, my God. That's funny.
Yeah, you definitely had it. You know what? I'm going to try to do Charles right now, and I know it's going to sound horrible, but I just want you to know that right now, you crazy knucklehead, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Terrible. I can't stand you. Oh, man.
All right, we're going to rewind 15 seconds so that our sponsor can drop in the proper promo. Let's go ahead and try that over again.
My God, I can't stand you.
And in 10 seconds, he forgot how to talk.
I can't stand you.
Whatever you say, Charles. TNT's The Alienist.
I was going to tell everybody that I just want to say, Terra Junior Photography, they are doing a very good job. I appreciate them. They are capturing your moments in life, capturing your memories and moments of memories, one click at a time. Check them out, Terra Junior Photography. They will take care of you. They do great quality work. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram, Terra Junior Photography.
So you can read it sounding like Shaquille O'Neal, but you can't read it like yourself. Oh, God. Oh, man. Yeah, that just happened. Don't you dare edit that out. That was amazing.
Well, you know. You know.
That was fantastic.
Hey, you know, you gotta have a little bit of fun. So I heard that this last weekend was the draft.
Yeah, NFL. Nice.
Did your team get whatever that they needed?
You know exactly what my team got. You did this on purpose. That ain't right, man. That ain't right.
I'm just making conversation, sir.
That ain't right. That ain't right. You know, we try to keep this PG. We try to keep this a family show. You don't ask a topic like that.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to.
No, we whew, I don't know. I guess the only thing I can say is it remains to be seen if we got what we needed. However, seeing as how we just signed a quarterback and we already have another quarterback on the roster, and then of course, you know, obviously there we needed a third spot filled because, you know, the passing of Dwayne Haskins a little bit ago got hit by a car, freeway and everything like that. So good Ohio State player. Enjoyed watching him when he was in college. I enjoyed watching his rookie season. Hit a few bumps and everything like that, but you know, shout out to his family. Sorry for what you guys are going through, but yes, they needed a replacement. And if you're going to draft a quarterback, I guess making him your instant third stringer so he can start learning isn't necessarily a bad thing. I've just heard so many knocks on Kenny Pickett that I don't necessarily think we addressed the things that we needed to address first in the draft.
I think I think it's just I think a lot of times these teams they try to get get players that they think they need and not really realize what they really need. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're addressing a position that you need. If there's talent available, you're instantly going to want to go for the talent.
Right. I think I'm getting that a lot of times is they get that they try to get a player to keep it from going to another team. So, I mean, say if there's a good quarterback out there, they're going to try to get that quarterback because they don't want that quarterback to go to such and such,
Right, exactly. Especially if it's a division rival. If you have a chance to steal something from a division rival, then yeah, you absolutely do it. I get that. But when you're wasting picks that are keeping you from achieving your ultimate goal of, winning a championship, which is what it's supposed to be in all professional sports. The ultimate goal is to bring home the chip.
Mm-hmm.
And you're consistently chasing the talent on the board, and instead of addressing the areas where you have issues, where there's holes, in your system, so to speak. It just you're basically shooting yourself in the foot at that point. It's like, yeah, we're going to get better because we have this star power, but wait, we drafted this star wide receiver because he was sitting here at this pick in the draft, but we already have 3 good starting wide receivers. Why did we pick up another talent?
Mm-hmm.
Why did we pick up a wide receiver instead of getting a middle linebacker where, our middle linebacker just retired, or he's down for injury, or we just need someone to fill that position? Whatever the case is, or the issue is, you're supposed to address that need first because it makes you better. But, it's just like anything else. You see something nice and shiny and you want the nice and shiny object instead of what fits and what works in the system.
Right. And that's I think that's one of the issues that that a lot of teams face and do and stuff. They tend to get players because they trying to take from another team instead of addressing the stuff they need. I mean, it's like you said, if you know that you have a good quarterback and a good receiving squad, but your offensive line is lacking in the guard area, let's not pick up a guard. Let's go pick up that receiver because the receiver is good. But if you have that guard, if your guard there is not strong, and your quarterback's nothing. You know what I'm saying? So
right. Well, it kind of, I don't know, man. It kind of gives life to that phrase, and I know you've heard the phrase before, but the older I keep getting in life, I'm starting to understand this phrase more and more. You rob Peter to pay Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, if it's a business move and a strategic move, to try to acquire talent from another team, then I understand taking that nice and shiny pick. You know what I mean? Like that I get. If there's a side, agreement someplace else where you're going to get back more draft capital for that one person, I understand that. I'm okay with that. 100% support that. It's a sly business move. I'm good with that. But if you're robbing Peter being yourself in the equation, if you're robbing yourself of something that you can get and fill the need of right now to barter with or make a deal with Paul, who would be the opposing team in this sense, how are you addressing what you need unless you've already got that side hustle on? So I don't know, man. We do that everyday lives. Oh man, I got these 2 bills that are due this week. Well, I'm not going to pay this one this week. I'll push it back one more week and I'll pay that one so I can pay the other bill this week. See what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying. I mean, I know a lot of people were like, so a lot of people were, like I said, a buddy of mine, he was watching the draft, and I don't think his team picked who he wanted. You know, a lot of failures. I
Right, but
mean,
that's again, I agree with you on that one. It's frustrating as a fan. It's very frustrating as a fan whenever you want that star player, but you're not the organization. You're not in the organization, and you're only looking at the prettiest girl in the room at the time instead of what is going to actually make you better.
right,
I get, like I said, nice and shiny. What's that line? What was that line from Men in Black? Old and busted, new hotness.
right.
Sometimes old and busted works better than the new hotness does.
That is true.
The new hotness just shines more and sells more tickets.
That is true. And that's the and you know thing about it, that's how we do in regular life too. We think that the newest thing out there is where it's at, but now actuality is it's not.
Please
So
understand. Please understand. I'm not trying to take away from like any of the talented players who are young and fresh in the league. Please understand. I am a gigantic fan of watching them play. But if you put me in the 2-minute drill and I've got to drive the length of the field to win a game, I mean, there are a slew of quarterbacks in the league that I'm going to pick to lead that drive before I pick some of the new school talent. And it's not a shot at them. It's not because they can't do it. It's just because years and years of watching the other ones do it, it's already been proven that they can. Well, I'm going to pick Tom Brady. I'm going to pick Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to pick Russell Wilson. You see what I'm saying? Like guys who have been around for a minute, guys who are experienced and they're seasoned. I'm going to, especially with Indy, I'm going to trust Matt Ryan to take us down the field and win a drive, this upcoming year when we need it. Seasoned veterans oftentimes get overlooked because of the fresh new talent, the fresh new faces in the league. The league is changing. It's more offensive. It's more pass happy. It's not what it used to be. It's the reason why you went from seeing, running backs getting drafted so high, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, to now seeing them be, third or fourth round picks. The running game is not as pretty as what it used to be. Now everybody likes seeing the long throws down the field or the sweet catches and beating the defense. And don't get me wrong, I like that just as much as anybody else. But sometimes before you get to this new stuff, you have to appreciate the old stuff you went through to get to the new stuff.
true.
Running game. You have to appreciate the running game, the one on the ground with the offense, and you have to beat the other team back in order to gain this yardage, as opposed to just picking it up with one ball thrown through the air. People want the quick and easy and flashy way to score instead of the work, the dirt, the grime, and punching it down the field and earning it. Don't get me wrong, you still earn it both ways, but earning it the gritty way as opposed to the flashy way. I am personally just one of those people who believe that you learn more going through the grit than you do the flash.
And I agree with you on that. I mean, I think that's very true. That people kind of do overlook experience, and which is actually I know that a lot of these players that get their feet wet. Sometimes it may take a quarterback a couple of years before he actually gets acclimated to the system, to a system that coach has, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it's very
Sometimes,
few.
Sometimes it takes a couple of years to require the draft capital or picks in order to be able to get the talent around you in order to get that system reestablished and back off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It takes time, but people don't want that. They want the instantaneous success here and now. They don't want to go through the dirt and the grime and claw their way to the top and earn it through growth. That's the reason why, and I'll tell you, that's the reason why I enjoyed this past Super Bowl we watched. That's why I enjoyed it so much. Because I watched, anybody can sit here and say that Matt Stafford sold out, that he just decided to go to LA, and when he went to LA, he got a better opportunity. Well, you're damn right he did. When he went to LA, he got a better opportunity because he came from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Of all places. And it wasn't like he just played 2 or 3 years and up and left the city of Detroit. He was there for 12 seasons. 12, bro. They had all this time to draft right, improve the team, fill in the holes where they needed. And the only thing that Matt Stafford had the whole time he was there in Detroit that was of any significant value was Megatron, Calvin Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And when Megatron retired a few years ago, Matt Stafford still stayed. Battled a lot of injury, didn't have an offensive line to protect him. I can't imagine how explosive he'd be as a quarterback if they actually would have drafted people to protect him, to keep him from getting hit so much. They didn't. Right. They just expected him to do all himself. And so seeing him go to L.A. and win did my heart good. Because I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. I've been watching this guy for the last 12 years of my life, and seeing him actually win one is pretty sweet. But on the opposite side of that, I was really enjoying Cincinnati. If you remember, we had that podcast. I picked Cincinnati as my favorite to win the AFC Championship, if you remember. Mm-hmm. I picked Cincinnati to go to the Super Bowl. Now, I thought they would have been playing with Tampa. But I picked Cincy because I knew they were that good. I love the up-and-coming talent that they have, but I was happy to see old school get a win.
The thing about it, though, is how I thought about it. It's like a lot of these teams lost the ability to build their lines and stuff over their quarterback, around the quarterbacks, or this and that. Because not how it's like how the Colts were with Peyton. They built that line around him.
Yeah,
and that's why that's why Peyton was so successful in Indianapolis, and a little bit in Denver, because those lines built those teams, the coaches built that line, built the team around them and their ability. Yes, they had good running games here and there, but they built the line to protect their quarterback, and that's why teams that have their quarterbacks, their lines built around them, they tend to do a lot better.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, if Peyton Manning could shave a few years off his life and be back in Indy right now with Jonathan Taylor as his running back, I guarantee you he'd come back to the NFL and play, because that is the best running back they've had in a long, long time.
That's true. I mean, you think about it, though. Indy is the last time Indianapolis really had a running back that we talk about was who? Adrian James.
Yeah.
I mean, Dominic Rhodes, he was good too, but he didn't have that power that Adrian James did. And then who's the other running back they had after Adrian James?
Frank Gore.
No, it was one of Frank Gore. They had another running back. So it was Adrian James, and once he stopped playing, they had another running back.
Wasn't that Dominic Rhodes?
I don't want to say it was Dominic Rhodes, but maybe it was. But like I said,
well, I know they had Tony Richardson for a little while.
Yeah, he didn't do very good.
And they had Frank Gore. They got him from the Niners.
Right.
and he had 2 good seasons, but he just not the force that
He,
current.
he, but he's getting older too. I mean, he's
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he ran for years and years and years in San Francisco. So, yeah.
so. I mean, yeah, I mean, Joseph Adai. That's what I was thinking about.
Yep, my bad. My bad. I don't know why I didn't think about him. No, you're
Yeah,
exactly right. He was pretty good for a while too.
yeah, he was good for a while too. Joseph Adai was. Yeah, Joseph Adai. But I mean, like I said, it's just. I mean, the Colts have tried to get running team running, but like I said, they didn't. They struggle in that area. You know,
Well,
I think Andrew Luck would have been would have stayed in a lot longer too if he just sacrificed his body so much. But he had to because I mean they didn't build that offensive line around him like they did with Peyton.
well, Peyton definitely had a better offensive line. Of that, there's no question. But a lot of that stuff, I don't know. Peyton was a more talented quarterback than Andrew Luck was.
Mm-hmm.
He was just better. You
Right.
know, I know everybody compared whenever he came out of Stanford. They were like, "Yeah, he's going to be the next Peyton Manning and everything like that." He's going to go to Indy and he's going to do the same thing. And don't get me wrong, he had a great career in Indy, but he was injured a lot. Um, he wasn't available when they needed to. He made a lot of dumb decisions. I'm not going to discredit the success that he had because he was very good. And I wish he would not have retired when he did because he was actually getting back to being really good Andrew Luck. But he did what he had to do for his own health and his own benefit.
Well, think
With
about it.
that,
Though, he took a lot of hits too.
well, yeah, but he can sit there and say that he took a lot of hits, but I'm just telling you right now, this past year, my quarterback just retired for the Pittsburgh Steelers. His name's Ben Roethlisberger. There's not a quarterback in the league that's drafted that has been hit more than Big Ben, and my guy's still standing.
Mm-hmm.
He went out on his own 2 feet. They didn't carry him out on a stretcher. He walked out of the stadium on his own 2 feet.
I mean, even Brett Favre went out. Even Brett Favre, he got hit a lot too, and he may not be the most coherent person a lot of times too because he hit so much. But you know, it gets to a point where you gotta know when. Sometimes you know when it's your time, and also too you sometimes you don't know when it's your time.
Yeah.
You just tend to you tend to go too early when you know you had a chance to go further. But then again, too, we can sit here all day long and say, "Oh, Andrew Luck had a couple more years." We could sit here all day long and say this and that, but we don't know. You don't know how his body is. I mean,
Right.
not,
Yeah, and I agree. Only Andrew knew what was best for Andrew at the time.
not everybody's like Tom Brady that can play for 50 years.
Yeah. I don't know. I tell you, the more and more I watch Tom Brady, and I I will say this before I go any further, because I already know you're going to hit me with it if I don't. Just because you know how much I can't stand Tom Brady in general, how much I've hated watching him over the years, as much as I've loved watching him over the last few years, the last 20 years of my life. Um, the fact, the thing I hate the most about Tom Brady is that he was a Michigan Wolverine. There is no Ohio State fan alive who considers himself a true Ohio State fan that can ever pull for a damn Wolverine. I mean, I'm telling you, that's just exactly how it is. And then the fact that he went to, God, one of the most hated franchises in the entire NFL, it made it that much easier to hate him, even though I never did. I secretly always enjoyed watching him play. I really did. Now, I still hate him because he's a Wolverine, but I respect the talent that he has and the longevity that he has. You know,
Because he
and
knows.
the championships, dude. He's got 7. He's got
But
7 rings, more than anybody else in any other professional sport.
you know the thing about it though is he's smart. I mean, yeah, he took hits. He's done took hits. He's been sacked, but he has not been sacked as many times as some of these other players because he knows when to get rid. He knows when to get rid of the ball. He knows when to fall correctly. He knows when to throw the ball away, and he's smart. And that's probably one of the main reasons why he's lasted so long. I mean, he knows when to. He knows when that play is going to be dead or not. I mean, he knows. He doesn't try to make something happen out of nothing. And that's a learned talent.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about it, you know, you're talking about that. You know, he missed 1 season in his entire career. He had that real bad knee injury. Gosh, I believe it was against the Dolphins. If it wasn't the Dolphins, it was the Chiefs. That came through, hit him on the knee, tore his ACL. I think it was Zach Thomas of the Dolphins that made that hit. I'm probably wrong because I put myself on the spot, but anyway, I digress. He missed 1 season, and he's been playing for 22 now. Like, what other player with that type of longevity, you know, I mean, other modern day comparisons, you know, LeBron, you know, LeBron's been in the league for 18, 19 years now.
I think he hit 20 years.
No, he's not at 20 yet. He's
You
not
sure?
at 20. No, he's not at 20 yet. I think it's 18. I think this was year 18. But, you know, he's been doing it at a high level for a really long time. I mean, crap, a couple times this year he had 2 50-point games, you know.
Right.
He's 37. You're doing that at 37 years old? I'm 39. I'm telling you right now, if I moved at half speed of what he did, I'd break every bone in my body.
That's true. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, that's the thing about it though too is that these players they have to keep playing. If once they stop playing, then that's when they lose their they lose their ability to stay healthy because that's what they that's what they know.
Yeah. And I agree, and I'm all about that, you know, taking care of yourself and getting paid and everything like that. But, you know, when you are the superstar the way you are, I don't know. I just believe you have a responsibility to the fans to be there every night and play and perform and do your job. You know, obviously, if you're injured, take time off to recover from the injury. But whenever you can play again, get your butt back out there on the court because you're the one that the fans are paying to come and see. I believe you owe that to the fans, the people who are paying you the lucrative contracts that you get to have for playing the sport. You know, you owe it to them to be out there. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, he's at his 19th season right now.
Okay.
So I mean, of course, there's no rumors going around that he's going to retire, but there's also a thing went out on Twitter today. Twitter that he was going to not extend his contract with LA, but I know he Osman talks that he wants to play ball with his son Bronny James too, but
yeah,
which would be.
But I mean, honestly, what else does he have left to do other than break Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's scoring record? He's got nothing else to prove. He's a 4-time champion. Yeah, he's lost a lot of finals, and because he's lost a lot more in the big games, he's been to more big games than MJ ever was. I will say that. Do I think MJ is better than LeBron? Absolutely. I'm an MJ guy. But I am never going to discredit what LeBron James has done for the game of basketball and what he's done for the league and all of the success that he's had since coming into the league. Like, I'm a big fan, but, but he's like Tom Brady. He's like Tom Brady to me. He's a guy that I like to hate because what did he do? I hate Tom Brady because he's a Michigan Wolverine. That's it. That's the only reason why I can't stand Tom Brady. I don't like LeBron James because, oh, wait, he couldn't win in Cleveland, so he went to Miami. Then they built that team in Miami. He stayed in Miami until they started losing. Well, Cleveland drafts Kyrie, and then they get Kevin Love, and then he goes back to Cleveland because there's talent there, and he has to have talent in order to win. But I'm going to say something that anybody who loves sports and listens to this podcast is going to really hate. But I'm going to say it because it's the truth. When LeBron didn't have the talent, he couldn't win. He could get them only so far, but he couldn't win. He knew he needed help. Now, there's nothing wrong with needing help, right? Michael couldn't win until he got Scotty, right? Mm-hmm. So LeBron couldn't win until he got Dwayne Wade. But see, here's the thing. Here's what most people forget. Michael and Scotty. And then John Paxson and Bill Cartwright and Charles Oakley was still there at the time. Now, they're no scrubs, but that's not enough talent to win. But they did. They managed to find a way to win. That was their, throughout their first three-peat. That was the core group of what they had. Okay? So LeBron takes it a step further. He goes Dwayne Wade, which is his Scottie Pippen, right? Mm-hmm. Since we're comparing him to Michael in the equation. But he's also got a bonus of Chris Bosh. He's also got a bonus of the coach that he had in Miami, and Eric Spoelstra, who was a Pat Riley student. And he's already completely familiarized with the triangle offense. Mm-hmm. So he's got all these things working in his factor. And then he wins. First year, he loses. Second year, third year, he wins. Fourth year, he loses. Well, I just can't do this anymore. I'm going back to Cleveland because, they actually drafted well, and now we've got a chance to win. He's back in Cleveland, 4 seasons? And then he leaves for L.A.? My knock against LeBron James is Jordan stayed with the Bulls his entire career until he retired, and then when he came back, he couldn't come back with Chicago. He had to come back with Washington. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But he stuck with one team. Exactly. And that's the only knock I have against the league nowadays. I miss the days when a guy got drafted by a franchise, he spent his entire career with that franchise, win or lose. I miss those days.
Right. Because the sports world is different. I mean, it's so fueled by money that the loyalty is not there anymore. That's what the problem is. I mean, because yes, they say these players they love the game and everything, but in actuality, it's the money in the game.
Right. I mean, honestly, the last player, God rest his soul, still a huge loss. The last player to have longevity with the team was Kobe Bean Bryant. Mm-hmm. 50 years with the Los Angeles Lakers. 20 years in LA, dude. Could you imagine being in the Los Angeles market, being exposed to that type of media and people in your business every single day, every moment of the day? Oh, God, no. 20 years doing it, dude. The commitment, the commitment. I like that. I don't know. I'm old school.
Like I said, Kobe Bryant was probably one of the last of the old school era. I mean, you can't even say that for like some players like Shaq or anything like Shaq. Cause Shaq, he didn't stay with one team. He went from Orlando to Miami to Phoenix, the Lakers. I mean, he played with multiple teams. So you can't. So like I said, as far as being the last of the old school players to actually stay with one team, Kobe Bryant is like the last one.
Dirk Nowitzki.
And Dirk Nowitzki, that one.
Dirk was a Dallas Maverick his entire career, so I got to give him that too. But I
Tim
mean,
Duncan.
yeah, you're talking 2 Hall of Famers though.
Yeah. Tim Duncan. I mean, he stayed with one team.
Yep.
I mean, David Robinson stayed with one team.
But but seriously, if you actually think about it though, man, like think of how many players stayed with just one team that you can remember, in the last 10 years. And I'm just saying 10 years time.
Yeah, you don't know any. I mean, 10 years time frame. I mean, before Kobe retired, that's it. That's really about it. Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Brady. He spent 20 years with New England.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to step away again for our second commercial break of the evening. We will be right back. We want to thank you guys for listening, and we're going to change up topics, and we're going to get a little deeper when we come back.
That's right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is your boy, Big Boy. This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Terra Jersey Enterprise will hook you up with some custom shirts. Also, Terra Jersey Photography, capturing your moments of today to make them last for a lifetime. But like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise. That's right, everybody. Thank you for listening to the podcast. This is your boy, Big Boy. This podcast is brought to you and sponsored by Terra Jersey Enterprise. Terra Jersey Enterprise will hook you up with some custom shirts. Also, Terra Jersey Photography, capturing your moments of today to make them last for a lifetime. But like I said, this podcast is brought to you by Terra Jersey Enterprise.
You back, bro?
Yeah, I'm back to 10%. Stupid phone not charging very fast at all.
It's all right. Take us off on the closing thoughts tonight.
I think we learned a lot tonight. Honestly, I think one of the main things is longevity and keeping it old school. There's nothing wrong with keeping it old school and longevity. Rest with everything, and then don't let something become a habit or a job to where you don't want to do it no more. So keep it fresh. Keep it, like I said, let's keep it fresh. And when it starts getting to that point where things are starting to become a job as far as like a ritual, to where that's when you know it's time to change it up. But also too, don't lose yourself and while doing it, because we tend to do that a lot too. I mean, you can agree, disagree that I think we all do that. Just sometimes we think the way we need to change things is changing ourselves, and we lose who we really are. So I think that the main thing is just don't lose sight of who you are. Sometimes keeping it old school is not a bad thing, and longevity.
That's it.
That's it, bro.
Well, I'm going to offer a little bit of advice. If you are going to lose yourself, just make sure you don't have mom spaghetti beforehand.
Hey, I like spaghetti. Spaghetti is amazing. You know, I haven't had a good spaghetti in a long time, or pizza.
Hey, look, man, I'm just telling you, you're the one who said lose yourself. And I was like, well, yeah, well, it's okay to lose yourself as long as you don't have mom spaghetti. You don't have to worry about vomit in the shirt, you know, point. But no, I agree with the closing thoughts. Um, you know, anything that you like and anything that you're passionate about, you can make a case for it being something that has sustained longevity in your life. I would encourage everybody to do that. You know, remember the things that you love the most. The things that are the core and the center of yourself. The things that make you truly happy, and try your best to always give yourself those moments to have. While still doing everything you need to in the process. Also, we learned a lot tonight about draft capital. Sorry about the soapbox I went on, but he set me up and he did it on purpose. He set me up and did it on purpose because he knew I was going to do that, and that's what he wanted. Because he told me earlier in the week that nobody else knows, man, Sunday's episode's going to be epic. And I was like, oh, okay, you got something planned. And he was like, just wait and see. Well, I waited. I now have seen and have now participated. So congratulations on the orchestration of tonight's episode. That was very well laid out, sir. You had a plan and you executed that plan to begin with. That was pretty good. I'm tipping my hat to you right now. You got any comments on that? Since you set it up like that.
Right. I think it's funny you say that though. Is that watching that movie Mally really made me think about some stuff that, like, towards the end of that movie. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but when that towards the end of the movie, when the water was parted, and she laid her head against that Mother Nature, or whatever it is, and so that's not who you are. That's not in your heart. Go back to who you are.
The movie is actually called Moana.
Moana, yeah.
Maui is the god in the movie. Yeah. He's the demigod. Go ahead.
But going back with that, sometimes you got to fight to remind either a friend or a family member who they were or who they was, because sometimes we can lose the view or lose that vision of ourselves, and let something else change us to where that's not who he was. And sometimes it takes somebody to remind us who we really were.
You're right. Somebody who wasn't exposed to mom spaghetti.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
Any kind of jacked up how you can learn a lot from these kids' movies.
Yeah, you can learn a lot from kids' movies, but you can also learn a lot from movies that at the time you thought were stupid and insignificant and oh yeah, it's sci-fi, it's real far-fetched, but you can still find like family values and all that stuff.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird. Kind of weird.
It's
But
nice.
again, this is what a lot of people don't see or realize, maybe from the perspective that, I myself do. I view life as one big gigantic Rorschach painting. It's an ink blot test, and you see what you want to see or need to see in the moments in which you need to see them as far as the application of your life goes. That's just me.
Right. I feel you. I feel you on that. Hey, but I tell you one thing on next Sunday, I want to talk about this that new Batman dude.
Okay, well then I'm gonna have to watch it. So
Yeah.
I
so you got,
will. That's my homework assignment for next weekend. All right. Well, I will make sure I figure out how to watch it.
cause that's gonna be the topic of next week's. It's gonna be the Batman superhero movies and
Oh boy, we're gonna dive into extreme nerding next weekend. Heck
exactly.
yeah, I'm already looking forward to it. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen some new ones on there today. I'm gonna watch. I'll watch that. What's it called? Moonlight or something? A new one.
Moon Knight. Moon Knight.
Knight.
I just watched the first 2 episodes for myself tonight, right before we did the podcast. Not kidding. I've just watched the first 2 episodes. I'm hooked.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be watching that too. So
I'm hooked already.
So listeners out there, next Sunday we're gonna be talking about superhero TV shows and movies. It's gonna get crazy. Crazy.
Well, real quick before we leave, then, little preview in the next week's episode. Who's your favorite superhero?
Bro. Always been a fan of Batman. Always been a Batman guy. Always liked Batman.
Yep.
I had the shirts. I had everything.
Hey.
I had Batman birthday cake and everything.
Okay. So, Batman overall or Batman for DC?
Batman for DC.
Okay, so who's your favorite Marvel superhero?
Captain America.
Okay, that's good. We're going to stop there. I'm going to list my 2, and then we'll take off next week. So,
right.
DC for me. I would probably have to say Superman.
Nice. Keeping it old school.
As much as I want to say Green Lantern, I would have to say Superman.
Green Lantern.
It's a toss-up for me between the 2 of them, but I'm going to go with Superman with the edge. And then Marvel, Wolverine.
Bro, I love Wolverine.
And so that's where we're going to close for tonight. We'll see you guys on the podcast next weekend. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. As always, we love y'all. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace, love, and hair grease.
Thank you for listening to the podcast tonight. I'm sorry for technical difficulties, but this is the closing. I appreciate you for listening to the podcast. Thank you.